What up? What up, Atomic Domination? This is the low energy version of the Atomic Dom Show in the 8064 Badassery, episode 116, How to Find Your Warrior DNA and Get into Beast Mode. Yeah, not very exciting, right? All right, so grab the energy from that B-roll, and we're going to get right back, and we're going to talk about Warrior DNA, how you find yours, and get into Beast Mode. All right, hit the B-roll. All right, gang, welcome back. And here it is, like we talked about. It's the Badassery edition, episode 116 on the AD64 show. And there's no dips. Do your dips. Always do your dips. This is the Warrior DNA and how to find yours, where it is. It's an ancient thing. Let's get into beast mode, and let's do it right now. All right, here goes. So here's what I got. All right. I've been thinking about, how it has to be in our DNA that we're warriors and survivors, right? Ever since the day of Java Boy was like cracking stones and trying to make arrowheads and, rubbing two sticks to start fire and that sort of thing. Like, that's all survival mode. You know what I mean? Like, think about when he first caught that fish or shot something with that bow and arrow, If you live today, right? If you live in this year, 2024, whenever it is you see this episode, right? Your warrior gene lives too. It is in your DNA. Right? You just got to find it. Like, there's math. Math probably comes before beast mode, I'm sure. But anyhow, so here's your beast mode right here. You know what I mean? Like, you just got to find it, man. It is in there, I promise you. You just got to keep digging, learn how to turn it on, and learn how to turn it off. Control it. That's the big part of it, is controlling it once you get into it. Okay? So, like, well, how do I find it, Dom? I don't know what it is. I get excited, but then I don't know what to do with it after that. All right, well, let me show you. All right. Here's how I don't know. This is the visual that I came up with in my head. Is like, you've all been fishing. Hopefully you've been fishing, and you get that fish on the line. You know what it's like? When boom, you set the hook, and the fish starts fighting, and you're battling it back. You can't see it; it's underwater, and there's this energy that's happening, and you're just in that mode where you're going to land this fish, right, to see what you got. Maybe it's a big one, maybe it's a small one, but it's a fighter, and you're competing against that fish, right? Well, that's what I'm talking about. That's the feeling that you get, right? So you land the big one here, which we're going to call Gill Fisher. Yes, that pun is intended. But your body knows. Your body knows how to switch it on. Like, what was it? Was it the rod dipping? Did you see it dip and pull at the same time to set the hook? Like what was it that set it off? You know what I mean? Well, that's what you got to find within you while you're competing, okay? It fires everyone up around you. Everyone's always excited when you got a fish on the line, right? Same thing here, when you're fired up on the court, people are joining in. They're like, hell yeah, I'm getting active too. I'm going to get in there and be excited. There's no reason to be calm and cool and just, playing with whatever. I mean, there are times for that, but for the most part, man, you're a competitor, right? You're getting into beast mode and you need to show it until you can dominate the match. Then you can start letting off the gas a little bit, maybe. Just depends, right? But yeah, man, be aggressive, but control it, right? You ever heard the phrase? That's one of my favorite phrases here is, it's better to be a warrior in the garden than a gardener in a war. Think about that for a second. And I think that holds true to your game, too. You've probably seen that in serve-receive or even when you're attacking. You've seen the defenders. You've been that defender, right? You don't know what happens in your mind whenever you just know this kid's going to crush the ball off the pin and he's aiming for you, right? He's going to try and pack you in the face. And so what do you think at that point? Yeah, I got this. I'm digging this kid, or whatever. I don't know what goes through your mind, but anyhow, you need to be aggressive, whether you're attacking, blocking, passing, serving. Be aggressive, all right, but control it. Always be that warrior in a garden, all right? Be ready, be prepared, turn it on and turn it off when you need it. And here's another one I thought was pretty profound. It was powerful, formidable, and peaceful. Like that's your foundation, right? Like that's what breaks the badassery out of the gate, right? If you can control it, and you be formidable. Like someone pushes your button, like maybe you're down 5 points, right? Now it's time you got to turn it up to even the next level. Help your teammates do that. And the things that squash that are like, you get no competitors, or maybe you get players who are selfish. They're just in it for for their stats. Like who knows what they're trying to do. But they're just playing for themselves. They're constantly ripping on the team or something like that. Or you let your guard down. You get up by too much. You let your guard down. Next thing you know, you're only winning by 2 or 3 points, right? And you don't. And the biggest one in my mind, which is arguable, I'm sure, but is definitely the love to win mindset. Like I am not a love to win mindset. I hate that mindset, right? I don't love to win. I hate to lose. And that's what, my warrior DNA is made up of. Is that I hate to lose that stuff, so I can do everything I can to fight and dig and, get where I need to be. So let's find our beast mode. Okay. Learn how to do that. So I put this monster character over here with this double nickel number, but that I think that was a good way to illustrate like how to do this, right? Like just be big, man. Be like the biggest dude on the court. Then that's what you want to do when you're playing. Turn up that competitiveness and be unpinnable, man. Nobody's going to stop you. And if your team doesn't help you out and support that, then you just keep going and you keep doing it and you help them out and bring them along with you. Like you make someone else great. You make someone's day better. You make their game better, and if you end up losing the match or whatever, getting beat, then it's okay. All right. It's okay. You've learned something, you've helped people out, and your team will grow. Okay. So when you talk about goals and boundaries and new goals and more boundaries and new goals and yada, 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 that's the idea. You set your goals, you achieve them, you break them down, you break down the barriers that keep you from achieving goals, and you set new ones. And you just keep charting your way until you get to May, right? Once you get to the end of the season, then you've got it, right? So, again, going back to our DNA, beast mode warrior, again, like I said, if you're living today, man, that beast mode exists in your DNA. You just got to find it. Like, let's talk about Harry Potter for a second. Like, I know it's a fictional character, but in the books, right, in the movies, I mean, that dude was, how badassery was that guy? Like, there wasn't a challenge for that dude that he wasn't willing to take on. You know what I mean? Like, he talked to snakes. I mean, think about that for a second. Like, that was his deal. Or like martial artists, MMA guys, people who've been practicing martial arts for years, like they're incredibly peaceful, you know what I mean? But they know how to turn it on. They know how to access that. And that's that warrior in a garden thing, and that's what they're doing. And they pull it off really, really well. And that's what you need to practice, right? You need to practice keeping yourself solid, finding that warrior DNA and applying it to your game, applying it to your teammates, and, build upon that stuff. That's what we're really looking for here, right? You want to be dangerous, right? And you want to know how to turn it on, and you want to know how to control it. But I'm telling you, be dangerous out there, okay? Like, have that mindset, right? There's nothing more exciting than being able to get that fish on the line, right? You get that fish on the line and you play an entire set that way, excuse me, and then you turn it into an entire match. Like, that's what makes volleyball fun, not just like crushing some team and just walking through the match. Like, that's not fun, right? We don't want to do that. So, and those people that tell you like don't be too aggressive, no, screw that. Like, that's not at all what you want as an athlete. I don't know if anybody got to see the NCAA women's basketball tournament. Iowa and LSU was all. I think that was a pretty hyped up match. So or game, I should say. But you could just see it. Like, regardless of who was winning at the time, and those girls did not turn it off. What's her name? Angel Reese. Caitlin Clark, like they played on that warrior mode level. Like, their energy was so high, like no matter what happened, like I think at the very beginning of the game, like Iowa's up, I don't know, maybe 10 points or something. And it was a ridiculous looking little score, it was like 10-1 or something. I don't know, 10-2. I'm not sure what it was, but anyhow, LSU got into beast mode and, it came back, and towards the end of the first half there, the score was a little different, but And I don't understand, like, what. Okay, help me out here. Why is something I just didn't know? And I don't follow women's basketball a lot. And actually, I don't follow it at all. Why are women's basketball games divided into quarters, where the men's game is divided into halves? Like, why are we doing that? I have no idea. Someone leave it in the comments. Help me out. I'm such an idiot when it comes to that kind of thing. I don't understand why they would do something like that, but I'm sure there's a reason for it because they've done it. But for whatever reason, I didn't catch up why they did it. So, anyhow, all right. So here we are in Warrior DNA, and how to find your beast mode. I hope this was helpful. Some of you definitely need it. I know, like last night, we played a match against a conference rival, and I think all three teams won, but I think all three teams played incredibly flat. The other team wasn't. They had the energy, they had the momentum, they just couldn't get it done. It was probably not a game for us to win, but I'm glad we did. We're a much better team than what we played like last night, both on the JV and the varsity level. I didn't get to see the freshmen, but I'm just telling you, man, like, it's just, it's one of those things. You can't take a risk with that. Like, those guys came out banging, man. They were there to play, and I don't know if it was just the gym was weird or I don't know what it was. We just came off spring break and we've only had a couple matches. And I know they were the same way, so we're all in the same boat. Our energy was low. Theirs was extremely high. So it was a good match, and in 3 sets, I think they made it to 21 before we did. So that is definitely not part of our game plan. We don't want a team to do that ever. Sometimes it happens and you can't get around it, But what I'm saying is like, had we been playing, like we did in small flashes of all 3 of those sets, I'm going to crush that team, right? And we crush any team. You can crush any team if you play with that kind of energy. Get that fish on the line and spread that energy out, man. I'm telling you, because that's what you need. So the only thing that I need right here is how to bounce out of this episode 116, the Warrior DNA, and how to find your beast mode. And I'm going to do that right now. I hope you guys have a good week. And keep on banging the ball. And we'll talk to you next time. Atomic Dom. Later.